Solo travel nomad experience or digital nomad experience is a very, very unique form of life. Hi. And as such, it requires you to get a skill set to be able to overcome the most common challenges. Because guys, out there are a ton of depressed digital nomads. And you know that it's easy. YouTube search will show you the dozens of videos that talk about how digital nomad life isn't what it seems to be. Because in reality, it is a beautiful lifestyle, but it has, as I said, unique challenges. And in this video, I want to address these, what I think to be the most common problems that nomads face when they become solo travelers. Number one, guys, is uncertainty. Okay, there's scientific research on this. It's not even an opinion. As human beings, we are hardwired to feel uncomfortable when faced with high levels of uncertainty. And there can be uncertainty in many different ways in your life from different angles and perspectives. But I don't want to go too much into the different types of uncertainty. I just want to give you the certainty that you will experience a lot of uncertainty. So what you can do about this, because this is a difficult one, really difficult one, is that you have to basically, by exposing yourself to the uncertainty, what you can do is increase your tolerance to uncertainty. You will never overcome. There's no like, now I'm completely on the other side. That's not true, because you always, your body, your instincts, and everything hardwired in your body is trained to not feel okay when things are uncertain. And that's just human. That's the human condition. And so you become better at managing the feeling of uncertainty, because it becomes there's a lot of emotions attached to that state of uncertainty, like fear, like anger, even anger. There can be, there's so many situations that can trigger this feelings. A lot of those are, of course, related to money, are related to your purpose, are related to your dating prospects, are related to the things that matter to you, because you don't know how you will end up on the other side. And so it's also a spiritual question that comes into play, and it goes to show that the human being is just a complex. It's just we are really complex creatures, not easy to overcome. So you have to be aware that when you embark on that journey as a solo traveler, digital nomad, you will have to train yourself to become better at managing feelings of uncertainty. That's just the reality of everything around you is changing all the time. There's really very few things that maintain stable as you move forward. So this is where we get to the second point, because it's a consequence of the first one that I just mentioned, uncertainty. And this is number two. Number two is self-discipline. You need to be much more self-disciplined than if you were living a, let's say, normal life in a fixed location as a normal person. Why? Well, because here's why. There's also scientific evidence on this, and maybe the most, let's say, famous book on this, and it's also, I would argue, the best book on it, because it's really that good. It's Atomic Habits. And you traveling along and going to different countries all the time, not staying at one place, really violates rule number 3 of that book. You can look it up now. Number 3 is make it easy for your habits to, because you know that it doesn't matter what you want to achieve in life, which goal it is, which is worthwhile goal, it will require you time, effort, and consistency. And consistency, I mean like those small habits that you build up over time, that you just execute every day, so that you gain a momentum and you can actually build something that is worthwhile, okay? Now, the problem with building habits is the building habits itself is already difficult. It is, because we tend to, as human beings, and since we're imperfect and since we're, well, just creatures of habit, we tend to fall back and relapse into bad habits. And building the good ones that we want is actually something that requires a lot of effort. And it requires awareness and self-discipline. Now, when you're traveling all the time, then, for example, let's just take an example. You want to do workout every day because you want to get, let's say, in shape. So what you have to do is you need to be aware that on a schedule as a digital nomad, you're not going to have the same access to the same gym, to the same location every day. You're going to be traveling a lot of times, and that should not mean that you can't get your dose of exercise every day. So what you have to have a plan in place that circumvents this problem, and that can mean that, okay, you plan this week I'm traveling here and there, and then you just need to be able to, in the morning, get out of your hotel, wherever that is, and then just do a run. You're gonna go run 30 minutes instead of going to the gym, and you need to be comfortable with that, which is actually pretty hard to do, because your mind comes up with excuses like, I don't know how this neighborhood looks like, I don't know, maybe it's rainy, you know how that goes. And so self-discipline, you need to be really brutal you need to be ruthless when it comes to being self-disciplined as a nomad, because you don't have at your disposal that make it easy rule from that book. There's different ways you can foster a healthy habit building foundation, but the one that make it easy, you don't have that as a digital nomad, which makes everything else a lot more difficult. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3 is how you cope with loneliness, guys. That's also huge, because it doesn't matter how good you are at meeting people, or it doesn't matter how big your social circle is back home. Once you're on the road, you will experience a lot of time alone. That's just the reality of traveling alone. That's why it's called solo travel, right? And so that will cause you probably some, let's say, not problems, but I know a lot of digital nomads that are depressed. They thought, okay, now I'm gonna go to these amazing countries, I'm gonna be traveling among other nomads, and then they find out that most of the time they're just alone. So I'm talking to guys, my audience are guys. I want to help guys because I think guys have a much harder life nowadays than women do, and women get so much help from everywhere. So I'm not talking to morning.
Good morning.
So I'm actually not talking to women, I'm talking to guys. And as a guy, one of the things you have to manage is you need to be able to cold approach people. I mean, you need to be talking to people. And that's a way you can, there's all different ways, healthy ways, how to circumvent, how to overcome, how to cope with loneliness. It's just a switch in your head. You need to be meditating. You need to be first leaning into the loneliness, and also finding ways to rapidly snap yourself out of that loop, which is it's just a negative loop in your mind. It's your mind fucking you up, telling you that you're not worthy of attention, and it's really just it's a rabbit hole of emotions that you don't want to go down. So you need to be able to and this is a skill. You need to be able to cope with that, and there's ways to do that. I would love to help you. You can sign up to my newsletter. I'm sending every week tips for nomads to live a happier life. I'm building also a platform with coaches. For example, I'm just finishing a how to how to build muscle, how to work out schedule on an unstable schedule. Like this, specifically a course to maintain yourself fit and with an unstable schedule. So please sign up. In the link is in the description. There's the link. It's for free. My newsletter is for free. You can do that, and you also please hit the subscribe button. It helps me a lot, and the like button. Okay, guys, I'm in Bangkok, by the way, traveling next week, so stay tuned.